No. Okay. Batwoman, Season 2, Episode 14. So, I was told that Batwoman Season 2 would be 13 episodes and no more. And someone wasn't being completely honest with me, because it turns out there's still more to go. I'm sure someone's having a nice laugh at my expense right now. Well, the writers sure as hell won't be laughing after I get done with them tonight. And I might only be saying that because someone's standing off camera with a shotgun pointed at me to make sure I don't try to get out of this. But f*** it. If Season 2 won't release me from its death grip just yet, the least I can do is make it as agonizing for the writers as it is for me. So, here we go again, I guess. I haven't even seen the episode yet. I'll have to turn the camera off and watch it now. I can't believe I'm about to do this to myself. But I'm sure it won't be that bad. I mean, as excruciating as Season 2 has been already, it can't possibly get any worse at this point, right? Thank God I kept these. Well, that episode just happened. Where do I even begin with this one? I really thought I had reached the point where this thing could no longer surprise me with the depths it was willing to sink to just to pander to whoever the hell they think is still watching. Well, I'm just getting surprised right and left this week because holy shit! If this episode is not undeniable proof that these writers have nothing but absolute utter contempt for every single person who's ever had the misfortune of watching this catastrophe, I don't know what the hell is! So this piece of rancid flaming dog shit begins where the last one left off. Alice realizes that new Kate is Kate Classic, but the brainwashing is too powerful, so new Kate's oblivious. Then Black Mask comes in, and since Alice gave him his daughter back, she's earned her freedom. Alice doesn't want to leave her sister, of course, so Black Mask has his thugs remove her from the premises. And I guess this is where Alice embarks on a mission to save Kate from Black Mask and from her brainwashing, but instead of that, here's a thought that's so crazy it just might work. Make an anonymous call to the police and tell them where Black Mask's hideout is. His thugs just escorted you out of the place, so you know where it is. Just call the cops and tell them. Also, that he has Kate Kane there, who is alive, but confused, disfigured, wearing a different face, and will need to be identified by her fingerprints or dental records or something. Just a thought. I mean, it couldn't be any crazier than what Alice is about to do, right? Cut to Batwoman attacking a snakebite dealer. In case you're wondering, she's not using the voice changer in this episode. Sometimes she uses it, sometimes she doesn't. I don't know why. The guy he was selling to goes running, so she follows him into some old abandoned church, where she finds him being eaten by a zombie. You know, because Zack Snyder's got a new zombie movie on Netflix, and it seems like riding the coattails of buzzed about movies is the only way we can think of to get people to watch our shit, so ride we shall. It is nothing but downhill from here, guys. Buckle up. Later at the gay bar, Luke tells Ryan about a disemboweled body that's been found and thinks this sounds like a job for Batwoman. But Ryan's like, F that noise, let the police handle it. Odd. I would think something that involves disemboweling men would be right up this character's alley. That Imani chick is there taking donations for the community center. Oh yeah, you better believe that's still a thing. And she asks about Luke's mom because Ryan used Luke's sick mom as an excuse when she bailed on Imani the other night. Apparently, Ryan and Imani started hooking up off-screen in between episodes. I guess it just wasn't quite time for Ryan to hook up with Sophie yet, and the writers were just itching for some HLA in the meantime. And if you're worried that the episode is going to be all about this, don't worry, it's not. It's actually much worse. We cut to some other guy scoring snakebite. He remarks that it looks weird and it's a different color than usual, but he shoots up anyway. And he quickly starts groaning in pain, he starts wolfing down a protein bar or something, and his eyes go all funky. Back at the gay bar, Ryan's wondering to Luke how Kate ever maintained a dating life. And as I recall, Kate didn't do much dating, she just slept around a lot. Luke's answer? Terribly. Why do you think she was so broody all the time? How would Ryan know why or if Kate was broody, Luke? She never f***ing met Kate, remember? He tells Ryan that if she wants to date people and maintain a secret identity, she'll need to get better at lying. One of the only lines in this episode that actually makes some kind of sense. And then the police walk in. Sadly, not to put me in solitary confinement so I don't have to watch any more of this shit. The cops are there about a noise complaint. Imani tells them there's a fundraiser going on here. That explains why you people are so loud. You people? Ugh. Yes, you people in the bar making the loud noise that was complained about. Get the f*** over yourself. Pay close attention to this next bit. The cops say they need a permit to hold a fundraiser, and if they don't have the proper paperwork, then they either have to shut the fundraiser down or pay a fine. Okay, that all sounds fair and reasonable. But Ryan doesn't think so, and immediately starts copping an attitude. Not only does she not have the proper paperwork to hold an event like this in the bar, meaning that she's technically breaking the law here, but she automatically assumes that the only reason the cops are even giving them a hard time in the first place is not because of the noise complaint, not because of the laws being broken, but because the people in the bar are black. Luke, bless his heart, is being the only reasonable person here, trying to cooperate with the police to resolve this issue in a peaceful, orderly fashion. But Ryan thinks that's dumb and just gets more and more agitated with these cops until she's practically picking a fight with them. Finally, one of the cops reaches for Ryan. She immediately tries to fight him off. Luke has to get involved, and lo and behold, they both get arrested. Because the system is broken and all cops are racist assholes. It's certainly not because Ryan was belligerent, uncooperative, and was breaking the law. This situation isn't contrived at all. Ryan, if you'll indulge me, I'd just like to mansplain one little thing to you here. When the cops showed up to investigate the noise complaint, the correct response was, "I'm sorry about the noise, officer. I'll go turn the music down right now. You see, we're having a fundraiser for a community center today. Proper paperwork? Of course, I have it right here. We wouldn't hold an event like this without that. As you can see, our permits are all in order, and everything is on the up and up. Is there anything else I can help you with today?" See, that's how a normal human being would act in a situation like this. But because the agenda-driven twats who wrote this trash wouldn't know normal if it kicked them in the ovaries, we have Ryan drawing attention for breaking the law, getting into a fight with the cops when they asked her about it, and then playing the victim card because the police had the audacity to do their jobs. And of course, the cops are portrayed as the villains here when it's really questionable if they did anything wrong. Yeah, they were acting condescending and stuff, and the arrest itself was borderline, but they weren't the ones escalating the whole thing. Ryan was. A fact the episode seems completely oblivious about. Sophie comes in afterward and learns that Ryan was arrested for noise and capacity violations. Sophie wants to confirm that by looking at the security footage, and the cop gets annoyed at this, to which Sophie responds, "I'm a crow who knows what she's talking about." Actually, sweetie, you don't know what you're talking about. You know why? Because you weren't there when it happened. The cop wants Sophie to stop wasting his time. She gets up in his face. They're this close to another fight breaking out. And I'd ask if you can guess what happens next, but really, there's no point. Cut to a jail cell where Luke and Ryan are locked up for being black, and Ryan's giving Luke shit for being stupid enough to try to defuse the situation with the police peacefully, because peace is a privilege not afforded to the black community, and police don't listen to reason, that's just an old wives' tale. But Luke says that growing up with rich white kids taught him to keep his head down, because all white people are racist, rinse repeat. Then Luke tries to call Sophie, only for Sophie to be brought in and locked up with them. Man, who would have thought that picking a fight with a police officer would get somebody arrested? Damn pig. Probably had a glass jaw, too. Back to that snakebite junkie from earlier, and he grabs a girl on the street saying that for some reason he wants to eat her face off. I wish I was making that up. But he gets control of himself, tells her to run, then a cop shows up, and the junkie says that the designer hallucinogen he took made him act crazy. Who could have seen that coming? Then 2 zombies attack the cop from behind, and the guy runs away. Back at the jail, Ryan and Sophie aren't getting along again. Sophie posits that the cop would have had no reason to play the assault card if Ryan hadn't given him a reason, so interesting reversal from earlier right there. And Ryan is incredulous about this. "You're saying it's my fault I'm in here," she says? For crying out loud, you'd think that someone who's spent a lot of time around criminals would know that when you break the law, you tend to get arrested for it. Whenever I think we're getting somewhere, you remind me that you'll always be a crow first, Ryan shoots back. And apparently it hasn't dawned on Ryan yet that this isn't about Sophie being a crow, it's about rudimentary cause and effect. Break the law, pick a fight with the cops, get arrested. What about this is messing you up? Cut to Alice back in Dr. Rhyme's office. Alice is annoyed that Dr. Rhyme never mentioned during their therapy sessions that Kate was alive and brainwashed. I missed the part where Alice found out that Rhyme had something to do with that, and she wants to know how to break said brainwashing so she can get her sister back, God help us. Rhyme says that could be kinda tricky since she had to break Kate's persona into a million pieces, but to get started, she'll need something of Kate's that will shake some memories loose. Meanwhile, over at the quasi-legal underground abortion clinic, the writers have given a big ol' F you to that cliffhanger from last week. Not only have they skipped right over Jacob's life being in danger from a potentially lethal overdose, he feels perfectly fine now. Okay, so I guess there was no reason to give a shit about that storyline at all. Good to know. Also, Mary is acting as Jacob's doctor here, so all that stuff about Mary hiring a licensed medical staff, leaving her to just handle the paperwork so as to not break the law, that was all bullshit. This quasi-legal underground abortion clinic went back to being an illegal underground abortion clinic so fast, you have to wonder why they even bothered making it quasi-legal in the first f***ing place. Jacob tells her how he got dosed with snakebite the first time, but she counted 16 track marks on him, so she knows he's holding something back. Then the junkie walks in and ties himself to a bed saying, "I'm Richard Monahan, but you're gonna know me as the guy who's going to try to eat you alive." Doesn't have quite the same zing as "I'm Ray Palmer, welcome to pain," but hey, what does? Cut to an old abandoned subway car where Alice is rooting around in a box of stuff. Then Ocean shows up. He's been waiting there for her for 2 days. And if you're wondering how he was dealing with that gunshot wound he took in the stomach the last time we saw him, don't worry, they never even mentioned that. Ocean's DTF, but Alice really isn't in the mood anymore because Kate's alive. And that has some incredibly creepy implications judging by something Alice says later. Don't ask. So Alice gets emotional, Ocean comforts her, and that is about all the action he's likely to get at this point. They lasted longer than I thought they would, but this is still a heterosexual romance, and there was only one way that was ever going to end on this show. Back at the clinic, Jacob wants to know how Richard even knew about this place. I'm confused. Is this clinic legal as far as the authorities are concerned or not? Jacob gave Mary the all clear to reopen, so I assume it is? So maybe this guy found it in the yellow pages or on their f***ing website. Richard's test results are all screwy, so Mary knows he took something besides snakebite, but can't seem to figure out why he wants to eat people. Because this show is stupid, that's why. Richard says the snakebite he took was a different color, but he took it anyway because he just really wanted to see his wife again. The love of his life, who tragically died in a car crash before they really had a chance to get to know each other. They had a chance to get married, but not to get to know each other? Okay? Back at the jail, our POCs are virtue signaling like it's going out of style. It's important to see POCs in law enforcement. It's a flawed system, but Sophie knows she can make it better. And Ryan admires this, but the crows are just a wall between the 1% and reality. And pump the brakes right there. When the have we ever seen that? They're constantly telling us that the crows only cater to their rich clients or whatever, but we also see the crows conducting murder investigations, transferring witnesses into protective custody, arresting criminals, performing raids, doing DNA analysis on costume vigilantes, casing crime scenes, putting out shoot-to-kill orders on people, and a lot of other stuff that also doesn't involve the fucking 1%. For Christ's sake, either tell us exactly what the crows are and stick to it, or just shut the fuck up about this shit already. God damn it! Sophie gets indignant because she risks her life with her face exposed every day while Ryan does it behind a mask, and Luke gets that life hasn't been easy for Ryan, but none of ours have. You know, because they're black. And according to the white chick who runs what passes for the writer's room these days, black people are perpetual victims. This show has become so offensive. You'd think the writers would have started offending themselves as they were writing it by now. But turns out they give fewer f***s than even I gave them credit for. And that is downright scary. Then there's this little exchange. "I'm sorry I got heated," says Ryan. "We're all heated, girl," replies Sophie. "But that's how we burn it down." That's the message they're sending with all this. The system is broken, the police are corrupt, the people whose job it is to keep us safe are fascists, so don't try to work within the system, don't try to fix anything, just burn the whole thing down. You could get a more nuanced take on this by a Down syndrome-stricken chimp. Team Flash would be more sophisticated than this, and those clowns make Sophie look like a fucking Rhodes Scholar. I mean, my God! This show can only plumb the creative septic tank so long. You'd think at some point the tank would have to run dry, but the shit just keeps on flowing! Then a white dude gets brought in for Grand Theft Auto. Ryan tells him she was locked up for literally nothing, so if you were holding out hope that she might learn anything this week, think again. And the white guy is all, "Cops, man, always trying to hold us down and deprive us of justice. Power to the people!" It's really a toss-up between this idiot and Ryan for which character is the most oblivious. Oh, and BT dubs. Zombies are taking over the city, it's not safe anywhere, people are being eaten alive on the streets, blah blah blah. Maybe lead with that next time, dumbass. Out in the city, zombies are breaking into a car, the cops radio for help, the bat signal goes on, but Ryan's locked up, so all hope is lost. But suddenly, it's Imani to the rescue. She's got a civil rights attorney handing out counts of assault and unlawful arrest and racial discrimination, so they're all free to go. Just like that. And will Ryan have to pay that $2,500 fine for holding a fundraiser without a permit? Somehow I doubt it. So Imani's night just opened up and she's totally DTS, but Ryan can't right now because, you know, might be a good idea to deal with that zombie apocalypse first. Back at the clinic, Jacob is helping to treat patients now. Where is the staff? You know, that licensed medical staff Mary said she hired so they wouldn't have unlicensed personnel treating patients illegally? Where the f*** are those people? Are they all zombies too now? Did Richard eat them all off screen? What the hell's going on? Then Ryan calls. She says Falseface doesn't know how to make the snakebite anymore without Angelique and Ocean, so that storyline about them getting the snakebite recipe from Angelique and Ocean just never happened? Shocking. And the new cooks must have improvised, which leads Mary to the conclusion that this new snakebite recipe makes people crave memories, so much so that they want to eat people's brains and thus zombies. Because that sure is how that works. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm trying to gut through this, I really am, but I don't know how many brain cells I have left at this point. Anywho, Mary thinks she knows how to fix this, because turns out the cure for zombies is hilariously simple. Over at Crow's HQ, Sophie's giving the Crows their marching orders for dealing with the zombie apocalypse. Use non-lethal force only for the ravenous monsters who are literally trying to eat your brains, yada yada, and says that all the attacks are happening within a 4-block radius of Gotham Presbyterian. Agent What's-His-Name points out that this would put the attacks outside their district. The Crows have a district now. Okay. Just for a second, let's assume that's true. That would mean that the Crows don't have the legal jurisdiction to operate in that area, unless the GCPD requests their assistance or something, but that hasn't happened yet. Never mind the fact that this has never stopped them from doing literally anything else anywhere else before, but now it's a thing. Not because the plot needs it to be, but because the point of the plot is to demonize What's-His-Name to such an insane degree that he's putting undermining Sophie ahead of stopping a horde of flesh-eating monsters. And why? I don't know. Because he's racist, I guess. That, or the writers finally realized that What's-His-Name has just about usurped Black Mask as the current big bad of Season 2, and they hadn't actually shown him doing anything wrong yet, so it was time to start overcompensating. Hard. And then, this despicable son of a bitch has the audacity to start asking perfectly logical, sensible questions like, did these orders come from Jacob Kane, their boss? And, since Jacob's not answering his phone, is he aware that the person currently giving orders in his place was arrested a few hours ago? Now, since no one knows where their boss is at the moment, and Sophie getting arrested certainly calls into question whether she's fit for command during a crisis, you might think that What's-His-Name asking very reasonable questions like these means that he's just acting intelligently and competently and looking out for the well-being of himself and his coworkers. But you're wrong. It means he's evil, and racist, and probably sexist. So he suggests that Sophie take the day off to wash off the jailhouse stench, you know, because she's black, and Sophie just reminds him that she's the boss right now. And apparently she doesn't have to explain herself in any way in regards to that whole getting arrested thing. I mean, if she did bother to explain herself, it might help her people to trust her more, maybe. But no, she's not doing that. And she wonders why she gets no respect at work all of a sudden. I guess that system's broken too, isn't it, Sophie? Cut to the Batcave, where Luke's explaining how Mary figured out exactly how to neutralize the bat snakebite and cure the zombies. Just inject them with science, and boom, done. So piss off, Will Smith and I Am Legend. Step aside, Brad Pitt in World War Z. There's a new kid in town. And since the zombie cure is hilariously simple, did Mary communicate this information to the police, or the Crows, or the CDC, or Hamilton Dynamic, or any authorities at all, so said cure could be produced and distributed that much quicker to the people who need it? Of course not. She told Luke and Ryan and no one else. And if that doesn't make you want to push Mary in front of an 18-wheeler, just wait. She's not done yet. Luke tries to create some tension by pointing out that Ryan's about to get up close and personal with some really nasty cannibals, but so what? As long as Ryan's wearing the batsuit, what the hell are they gonna do to her? Back in Dr. Rhymes' office, Alice presents the keys to Kate's motorcycle, which will shake some memories loose in Kate's brain because of some nonsense Alice pulls out of her ass about that motorcycle representing freedom. The writers think it's all super deep and profound, so of course it lands like a fart in church. Rhyme cautions Alice because with restored memories comes a flood of remembered pain, and Alice won't just be getting her sister back, she'll be getting the girl who was smart enough to lock up a psychopath in Arkham. Okay. 1. I'm pretty sure you don't need to be that smart to know that locking up a psychopath in a mental institution is the right thing to do. And 2, it took Kate most of Season 1 to figure that out. I don't think we need to give her that much credit here. But Alice doesn't care about that stuff, so Rhyme tells her that to restore Kate's memory, they'll just need those keys and a trigger word, which is like a password to Kate's brain. But before she can tell Alice what the trigger word is, Ocean snaps her neck and kills her. He says he killed her because he knew Alice couldn't, and he doesn't want Alice to get Kate back. Alice is horrified, and she thinks this is all because Ocean is jealous of Kate. Because, she says, you think if I get Kate back, I won't want you! Does Alice want to her sister? I mean, yeah, the writers have made it canon that Kate's sheer amazingness transcends the sexuality spectrum, but this shit is downright creepy. There's some seriously f***ed up issues here. Issues I feel gross just thinking about, which makes it even more disturbing how much thought Ocean has put into it. His reasoning is that Alice sat in a cell for 11 years waiting for Kate to find her, and she didn't. And my god, of all the hills to fucking die on, Kate not telepathically sensing Beth through the door is seriously the one they're going with? He continues, Kate also didn't recognize Alice when they came face to face 11 years later. Yeah, because it's not like people's looks change as they grow from children to adults or anything. When she had to choose between the city and Alice, she chose the city. Eventually, but only after she let Alice go many, many times, allowing Alice to murder many, many people. I think the grace period Alice got on that one was more than generous. And she locked Alice in a cell and gave up on her. That's not love, that's apathy. And he finishes with, Kate is toxic, and you're better off thinking she's dead. Truer words were never spoken, if only the show meant for us to agree with them. So Ocean leaves, Alice cries, and it looks like their heterosexual romance is rapidly disintegrating. Who could have seen that coming? Cut to the church where Ryan's fighting the zombies. There's too many of them, they're overwhelming her, and then someone starts shooting at them, and Ryan takes cover. The bat suit is bulletproof, and Ryan's taking cover from bullets. Because what's-his-name and a bunch of other crows just mow down all the zombies. Then Sophie radios in demanding to know what all the gunfire's about, and he tells her the zombies were just a lost cause. Now the writers would have us believe that an action like this means what's-his-name is obviously evil. But bear in mind, he just watched these creatures swarm a woman like rabid animals, try to crack her skull open and feast on her creamy nougat center. How the hell was he supposed to react here? What, you never seen The Walking Dead before? How do you stop a zombie without killing it? Now, say, if the crows had been equipped with some kind of simple and effective zombie cure, there might have been more options on the table, but there weren't. They didn't even know there was a cure. So, great job getting the word out about that, Mary, you dumb f***. Also, Sophie, if you were adamant that your people use non-lethal force when dealing with this threat, why not just equip them with rubber bullets? So again, the writers are working overtime trying to demonize what's-his-name, and again, he's really not coming off that badly, because the real problem here doesn't stem from him being evil, it stems from the characters we're supposed to like being f***ing stupid! Back at the clinic, Mary thanks Jacob for helping out with all the zombie victims. I don't know what I would have done without you, she says. So she couldn't have relied on that licensed medical staff she's supposed to have? Just checking. In turn, Jacob is full of praise for Mary, saying that none of these people would be alive right now if it weren't for her and this amazing, awesome, wonderful, and yes, still illegal underground abortion clinic. And once again, right when Jacob is being super nice to Mary, humbling himself before her, putting aside everything he ever said about this clinic being a bad thing, along with every impulse he has about common sense and following the law, for the second time, Mary chooses this exact moment to shit all over him. I know you took the snake bite because you wanted to see Kate and Beth again, Dad, but do you want me to feel sorry for you? I lost all the same people you did. I feel the same pain you do every day, but I'm not trying to escape it. I'm trying to learn to live with it. Because apparently, I was dumb enough to think that you would do the same for me. You want so badly to live in this fantasy with two daughters that you lost that you can't see that you're losing the one daughter you have left! Oh my God! Okay. Mary, Has it ever occurred to you that maybe what a person who turned to drugs to escape reality might need is sympathy and understanding? This isn't tough love. This is just cruelty and ignorance. Baffling, flabbergasting cruelty and ignorance. You absolutely did not lose the same people he did. Jacob lost his wife and 2 children. You lost a stepsister you had an inexplicable, unhealthy obsession with, despite, by your own admission, her spending most of the time you'd known each other treating you like you don't exist. Now, you did both lose your mom. That's true. But, lest we forget, like the writers f***ing did, your mom was a goddamn criminal. Arson, attempted murder, human experimentation. I get that you still love her, but let's not pretend her legacy isn't more than a little tainted. And did it ever f***ing occur to you that maybe part of the reason why Jacob wanted to escape into a fantasy where his dead kids were still alive is that every time he makes a real genuine effort to mend fences and fix the relationship with the one living kid he still has, you spit in his face for it, just like you're doing now? Did you ever, at any point, consider that maybe, just maybe, you might share some of the blame for this because you're a self-absorbed, self-obsessed, sanctimonious, narcissistic, holier-than-thou, unthinking, unfeeling piece of human garbage? Go to hell, Mary. Go straight to hell. Suddenly, Richard breaks free. Jacob, perhaps against his better judgment, protects Mary from him without so much as a f***ing thank you. Richard runs outside, a cop shows up, he tries to eat the cop's brain, but Ryan saves him. I think this was the same cop who arrested Ryan earlier, but I didn't care enough to check. And in a line delivery so freaking smug Kate Kane would have been impressed, she says, "You're lucky. I almost didn't make it." The implication being that she took her sweet time getting there to save him because a human life may have been in danger, but it was a cop and someone Ryan didn't like, so still technically important, but not something she was going to lose sleep over if she happened to be too late. Later at the gay bar, Ryan reads a news report about how the Crows found the false face hideout with the bad snakebite and prevented the death toll from being even higher, and this makes her want to drink. Funny, I get the same feeling every Sunday at 9 p.m. And there was a real easy way for you to get credit for this too, Ryan, but you dummies kept the zombie cure a secret, so take your fucking medicine. Then Sophie announces that she's leaving the Crows because their hate, ignorance, and apathy are bigger than her. So, yeah, changing the culture, fixing the system from within, dunsies. Just burn it all down is what the show is saying. Ryan says the Crows don't deserve Sophie, and they need her with the good guys. And beats me who she's talking about because there are no good guys on this show. Not a single fucking one. Ryan and Imani emotionally validate each other until I'm throwing up in my mouth, and then Ryan breaks up with Imani because she's not able to share all of herself with her. Oh no, this brand new relationship that existed entirely off screen just ended after one episode. How sad? And the episode ends with Luke running into the carjacker from the jail cell right in the middle of him jacking another car. So he takes a picture of this, then confronts the guy himself instead of just calling the cops because the episode needed a cliffhanger. Luke tries to convince this man to stop what he's doing. The guy doesn't listen. The car alarm goes off. Then Agent What's-His-Name rolls up. Carjacker guy says Luke was the one trying to steal the car. Luke is like, no, this man is a known car thief and I have the proof right here. Luke reaches for his phone, and because Luke is black, What's-His-Name thinks he's going for a gun and shoots him. Yeah, that'll teach Luke for trying to cooperate with the police through peaceful means. That'll teach him for getting a heterosexual love interest last week. That, am I right? So Luke gets shot. Will this lead to anything? Considering the last episode had a cliffhanger of Ocean getting shot, and he was perfectly fine this week, I'm skeptical. This episode, god damn it. I feel so desolate after watching this. The quote-unquote heroes of this show have got to be the most loathsome, unlikable assholes on television. The stupidity has been cranked up so high the damn needle broke off. And I've said my piece about the writing, but one more thing I'll add is that the the writers constantly think that they can take very delicate, very complicated issues or questions with no easy answers and simplify them down to our side good, your side evil, which is not only pathetically ignorant and patronizing, but also shows how they have no respect for their audience at all. And no self-awareness either. Because in their desperation to claim the moral high ground, more often than not, they come off looking worse than the people and the characters they're trying to demonize. F*** every single one of them, and f*** this show straight to hell. Jesus Christ, that was intolerable! I really thought this season could not possibly get worse, and they just proved me wrong. But at least now, it's almost over. I thought it was over last week, but we've got to be nearly there after this. I mean, how many more episodes this season could there possibly be? 1? 2 tops? Make it quick.